Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Adriane Venus, founder of the Global Love Coach Academy and host of this podcast, Venus Talks. I just want to be very, very raw and real this morning. Another Venus talk after some weeks of traveling and being very, very embedded in a wonderful community in Germany of friends, fans, and family. I'm now in Spain for a simple purpose. We had planned and have planned a relationship revolution. And the revolution is happening. We are at the venue. We have a beautiful retreat here. And in this retreat phase is coming wonderful ideas and shifts and evolutionary steps into motion. I personally have really understood now that we are not working within the framework of 1 or 2 generations. We're working in the framework of creating the Love Coach Academy for the 22nd century. This is a big, big vision. Imagine you have people being born now. I don't want to say people. Let's start with the couples that make decisions now, like my grandchildren being born, or having the kind of vision to bring something into evolutionary process that has an effect beyond their own children. Once my grandchildren are above their 70 mark, I think we can happily say that it will be the transition into this 22nd century. So I remember only 26 years ago, when my children were very little, how we celebrated the shift into the wonderful, 21st century. All the newness, all the, discoveries. And what will it be in 74 years' time when the clock says, 2100, not 2026 anymore. So I really feel to say that we are entering a new phase in my evolution as a founder. And I say this very, very consciously because a vision like this needs people, it needs purpose, and more than anything, it needs passion to persevere. We have been very, very, very focused on Bali, but now a new phase is beginning where I see that the world needs love coaches. It's just simple as that. We want to really be honest in the process of choosing those lighthouses, those people who have the readiness to be part of an amazing global team of trainers, of coaches, and of entrepreneurs to bring this vision into manifestation. I'm entering now stage 3. We had a very soft stage 1 last year in building the foundation in Bali, holding the vision for 2026, scheduling the first trainings, getting to know our first trainees, those who are really, really part of it. And now it's the next level. We have certified a group of people. They're coming from 7 countries in the world. And it's a pleasure to see that the opportunity to actually refer to these 7 countries alone, beyond everything else, is the most profound stepstone. We have committed people in Canada, America, we have the Philippines, we have New Zealand, we have Australia, and we have Germany, which is really, really great, and Belgium, Spain, with my co-partner Miguel, who is very influential on the side of bringing the standards and the ethics into motion in these very, very transformative times. We know that there are practices of love coaching and relationship kind of communication that has impacted a lot of individuals. The generation of my children, being in their early 30s or in their late 20s, they're looking for more refined, more healed, and more than anything, more balanced ways of relating to their new partners. It's not anymore that we can expect that the willingness we had to do the karmic work, this profound and this eclectic, with methods of our methods to release karma, to release hurt, pain, relational, traumas. All this has to come to a new awareness that we have children who learn from us, children who now in their 20s, 30s, maybe already in their early 40s, know that they have done the work in being our children. They have done the work in being there for us when we needed to have their presence in order to have a reasoning to not wanting to continue the pain and the patterning, the conditioning of that, what our relationship with our very own parents had been. The trauma, the pain we discovered, we had to almost birth ourselves out of in order to become liberated enough to be ready to say we are helping a new generation. That alone, I think, demands to many of us a huge, reward. I see that the world is often still very, very stuck, very unhealed, and more than anything, unwilling to compromise. It's my way or the highway, and you see often that people leave relationships and don't find it easy to get back into relationship with another person because it's difficult. It's difficult to adjust to the needs of somebody else. Wants and needs are so much part of my coaching work in all these years, but I'm shifting from being a coach and trying to help people having fulfilled and really wholesome love lives versus being a founder of an academy, collectively creating a framework for a bigger evolution is a huge step ahead. I'm still trying to refine the benefits and the real purpose of what this is, what we are creating here. I want to be really honest, it's not easy when you are used to having conversations with individuals about very simple things. What do you want? What do you need? What do you know? It's just as simple as that you can build a whole beautiful coaching framework around these 3 questions. I teach these questions and we elevate of them very, very deeply because it's not just a want, it's not just a need, it's not just what you know here right now, it's a deeper knowing, it's a wisdom, it's a sometimes not even conscious awareness that there is a depth in you, a knowledge in you that wants to apply itself in human form and in human expression. Creating an academy into the 22nd century, so as I shape it at the moment, is a huge vision. And Spain is allowing me to slow down. This retreat here right now is allowing me to completely own the fact that we have only sown so much energy and support and resources to accelerate in a really fast momentum. But then it needs to be paused and reflected on and reviewed. We are in Mercury retrograde right now in Cancer. I have a Cancer rising. I feel very comfortable in this Mercury retrograde for some reasons. It feels like a homecoming. I feel after having been in Germany and with friends and family over the last 3-4 weeks, I know that this moment gives me an opportunity to fully embrace my very own journey. Also to rest, to have this amazing environment in which I'm sitting here, available for my very own vision to be refined. Strategically, business-wise, content-wise, curriculum-wise, and team-wise. It's interesting to see, how the needs change of everybody who has been involved and those who are still involved, and the many who just came on board to be involved. Their readiness, their willingness, their focus on becoming coaches that make it different in their very own communities, countries, parts of the world. I want to not talk too long today because it's a Sunday morning and I really feel that the internal work I'm doing together with a lot of strategic planning is really key to give myself the credit for the amazing evolution we have already undertaken. Coming out and speaking with this conviction, and yet knowing that it takes so much more to even just get to the first level of manifestation is scary or makes me very, very vulnerable. But then there is this amazing other knowing that I have trust in the guidance that has been given in so many moments to proceed and to make sure that I'm not losing focus on what really the vision is all about. And the vision is really for humanity to have access to skills, to methodologies, to frameworks that are accessible. We cannot anymore neglect epigenetics and quantum physics in context to relationship work. It's just not possible. Trauma work and the work around releasing pain in relationships, as much we don't want to be therapists than being coaches. We do need to understand the cause and from where pain is actually caused. A lot is karmic, a lot of generational. I'm German, I can say this very, very clearly that my influence was very strongly with a lot of pain, trauma and losses in the 20th century, 1945, onwards, in recovering from the Second World War. Losses around businesses, around family homes, around people who had the calling to go into war and never came home. My very entrepreneurial grandfather losing his big publishing house in Tristan on the night of 13th, 14th February 1945. I just spent 10 days in Tristan at the beginning of my trip to Europe, and I have beautiful pictures of the inner city and the recalling of my grandfather's stories and my grandmother's stories, describing how elegant, how beautiful, how romantic this environment has been and how fulfilled they felt in fulfilling a purpose and bringing children books into family homes. My grandfather was the first children book publisher in Germany at that time. And knowing that my grandmother had a huge creative input at this is beautiful to know, isn't it? When we know that we're coming from an entrepreneurial background of a different kind, the creativity that made sense at that moment, at that decade when, the First World War had ended. My grandparents got married in 1924, and it was their mission. And I feel that I have inspirited a lot of this entrepreneurial intent of my grandfather, because I'm probably the only one really in my family in this generation being this entrepreneurial. My brothers and cousins are more practical, more down-to-earth people with professions that are either very creative and musical or very much in architecture, building, design, That is the sort of world. But building a business from a scratch, and making it a global venture, I don't see anyone in my family really performing, not in the past, not right now, but hopefully in the future, because I do know that, my children, grandchildren have an amazing opportunity to contribute to this vision as well in their very own way. Even just being my children, even just being there and giving me a sound mirror to my very own evolution, and seeing them growing in their partnerships, in their relationship to their children, to their loved ones, in such a transformed and beautiful way. Yeah, so the sun is coming up now. I can't even see anymore my own screen here, but because the sun is so strongly reflecting, but I'm still in front of this beautiful pool, and wish you all a very, very amazing July. I think it's a hot and steamy summer in many places in the world, and Spanish culture has so much joy and love and spiritedness. I spent time in Barcelona watching salsa dancing and orchestras and beautiful singers on plazas, in front of churches and restaurants and bistros and tavernas, and drinking vermouth at 5 p.m. in the afternoon, and doing the Spanish way, and hearing that people have a long siesta, going into their lunch break after 12, latest at 1, and come back to work at 4 p.m. and celebrate people and meet with people and talk to people and be in community. And that's what I really, really, really cherish about being in Spain. Seeing how also something that Bali is representing in a different way is really, really alive here, very profoundly. The fact that people go out, they meet, they have connections, and they celebrate food, wine, water, the ocean, and nature. So there was just a beautiful peacock sitting here on the chair next to me. I have photographs, you might edit it in for you to see this. And also we have this amazing landscape around me. This huge building with 10 bedrooms, another cottage with 5 or 6 beds in it. So it's huge here. And, coming here is really, really celebrating space and accessibility to a transformation that we are all part of. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. That was a Venus talk with a little bit more personal stories, but I want to give it an added value in just telling another story, which might be also a little bit of a learning for you. When I started this trip, I was very, very insecure about what it will be being here in Europe. And I did not really know whether landing at my uncle's place in Dresden or having the opportunity to, meeting friends in Munich was on my agenda. But now looking back, just doing the first step and being available for the connection, just stepping in to connect, not knowing whether I'm received or not knowing whether I'm embraced for who I have become or not. And yes, there was lots I was embraced for, and there were moments where I felt like I'm misunderstood or I'm not part of this family the way anymore I know I have been in the past. And why I'm telling this story is that in essence, there was a very crunchy moment that I felt that my uncle was so happy that he almost sabotaged his happiness in making me feel, as not being wanted. And yet, he was so happy. I knew he was happy. And applying my relationship intelligence to just letting it be and letting him feel his feelings and being present in his very own inner heart. He celebrated during my stay his 87th birthday, and a man who is incredibly out there. He was a marketing expert and a designer. He had a company for many years in Germany creating amazing brands, and he helped me also reviewing Global Love Coach Academy. The essence of this story is that I'm really trying to accept the fact that we are all where we are. We are all in our journeys, but meeting people wherever they are, at whatever stage of their very own evolution, is such a gift. And if we just listen, not with the eyes and the ears of a child that says, here's my uncle and I want him to validate me for the woman I have become, but saying, I love him unconditionally and I let him speak to me without filters. And I take on what he says, not as a criticism or as something I cannot accept or understand, but really accept it as something that maybe has value for me in very, very tiny different frictions and portions and frames. And that's what it was. I ended this trip essentially getting so much out of my time there. Why? Because every little moment that sparked something in me, I recognized as something I could learn from and take on this journey to become somebody who helps people to be real and raw and authentic, even if they don't seek a love coach or don't seek to become a love coach. It doesn't matter. But we have the opportunity, even just through our presence and willingness to hear and to listen to stories and to reflect back, we have the amazing opportunity to be part of something that is more than this generation, that is, evolutionary into the 22nd century. Thank you for listening. A big hug, and I see you at my next Venus talk. Thank you so much.